Welcome to Clarity Currents, the secret podcast with me, 𝙗𝙗𝙨𝙨, where I share weekly channeled messages about the energetics of the week and the areas of opportunity, so you know how to work with the energy rather than in resistance to it, and know how to leverage it for your highest level good in your business, relationships, health, wealth, spirituality, and legacy. This is Clarity Currents episode for the week of December 29th, 2025 through January 4th, 2026. Let's dive in. When I tune into the overall energetics of the week, I see this powerful image of a shoreline where the tide keeps pulling back while the sun slowly rises over the horizon that you can see into the distance. So this is a threshold week, a week of deep emotional release, integration, and most importantly, conscious choice about what you want to carry forward and what you want to leave behind. There feels like there's a strong tension earlier in the week between your desire for comfort, safety, and grounding, and then the bigger transformation that you've been moving through for the last few years. So if you feel conflicted, wanting to rest while also feeling the pull to move forward, you're not doing anything wrong. The friction is part of the initiation. As the week unfolds, clarity seems and really like it comes from allowing what's been quietly surfacing to fully reveal itself. You may realize that certain beliefs, roles, or emotional patterns simply cannot come into your next chapter. So this week asks, what am I ready to be done carrying? What foundations am I choosing to build my future on? Emotionally, spiritually, and practically. Business for the week of December 29th. When I tune into the energetics of business this week, I see a vision of the scaffolding around a building, and some parts are being reinforced while others are being carefully dismantled. So this is not a week for rushing and forcing outcomes. Instead, it's about strengthening the internal and structural foundations that will support your next level of growth. You may notice delays, miscommunications, or moments where words don't land the way you intended, but these moments are about refinement. The energy this week in business is asking you to slow down, reassess your systems, and ensure that what you're building is truly sustainable. Pay attention to where you've been overcompensating or overworking, where outdated strategies no longer align with who you are now, and pay attention to what feels solid versus what feels obligatory. The path of least resistance this week is trusting the timing, tightening up your structures, and letting intuition guide your decisions instead of urgency. Relationships for the week of December 29th. When I tune into the energetics of relationships this week, I feel a strong emotional undercurrent tied to family dynamics, inner child healing, and strong standing relational patterns. There is an opportunity here to respond differently than you would have in the past. I see this image of two people sitting side by side next to a fire, not needing to speak, but just simply being present. So this week invites honest emotional expression without over-explaining, holding space for yourself instead of self-abandoning, and choosing emotional safety over old coping mechanisms. The message in relationships this week is to let yourself feel what's coming up without rushing to fix it. Healing happens through presence, not through performance. Health for the week of December 29th. When I tune into the energetics of health this week, I see the nervous system front and center. Your body is processing a year's worth of emotional and energetic shifts, and it may ask for more rest, gentler movement, or quieter moments than usual. Sleep patterns may fluctuate, and your system might even be craving more grounding practices. This is a powerful time to refine your self-care rhythms. Simplify what's possible, nourish instead of restrict, slow down your mind as much as your body. The body is asking to be treated as a sacred vessel, not something to push through, but something to listen to deeply. Wealth for the week of December 29th. When I tune into the energetics of wealth this week, I see a lock clicking into place. This is a week of integration rather than expansion. Financial clarity comes from releasing old money stories, survival-based thinking, or emotional attachments to control. You may realize that your relationship with wealth is directly tied to your sense of emotional safety. And as you soften internally, you create space for abundance to move with more ease. Ask yourself, what beliefs around money am I finally ready to let go of? What would it feel like to trust my financial path more deeply? This week, plant seeds that are going to steadily grow into early 2026. Spirituality for the week of December 29th. When I tune into the energetics of spirituality this week, I see this deep, still lake right under the full moon, where everything is reflected clearly on the surface of the water. This is very indicative of things like meditation, prayer, and grounding practices being especially powerful this week. The veil is thin, but clarity comes through stillness, not through effort. Old belief systems may rise to be seen clearly for the final time. So this is your opportunity to lovingly release spiritual identities or narratives that once supported you, but now might be limiting your expansion. Faith deepens when you allow yourself to rest inside of trust. And legacy for the week of December 29th. When I tune into the energetics of legacy this week, I see someone gently closing a heavy book, placing it on a shelf, and looking at it with reverence. This is a week of conscious completion. Your legacy is not built through exhaustion or self-sacrifice. It's built through alignment, emotional integrity, and devotion to what truly matters. As the year closes, ask yourself, what kind of life am I choosing to create going forward? What emotional patterns end with me? And what foundations am I laying for the future that I want to live inside of? The answers that you receive now are going to shape the years ahead. There you have it, Hot Soul, your intuitive forecast for the week. Wishing you a week of deep release, emotional integration, and sacred preparation for what's next. Until next week.